Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for all the breaking Liverpool news. Today we've got huge updates. Fabrizio Romano drops a major transfer bombshell, while Alexander Isak makes a shock snub despite a release clause. Plus, Liverpool may have finally found their new Philippe Coutinho with a blockbuster 100-meter move on the horizon. Stick around, Reds, you don't want to miss this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window, Winway. Eddie Howe confirms Alexander Isak decision as Liverpool transfer saga end in sight. Eddie Howe has offered an update on Alexander Isak's future after confirming he will not be involved against Liverpool on Monday night. Eddie Howe has admitted an end to the Alexander Isak transfer saga is in sight as he confirmed the Wanaway striker would be absent for Newcastle United's clash with Liverpool on Monday night. The Swede has made it clear he wants to leave the club and is currently training on his own. Isak made headlines earlier this week when he released a statement on Instagram, moments after he was confirmed as being named in the PFA's team of the year for last season, insisting that his Newcastle career was over, citing broken promises behind the scenes. That was followed by a Magpie statement later that night expressing disappointment in his actions and claiming he would be likely to stay put at St. James's Park. Liverpool had a 110-meter bid rejected by Newcastle earlier this month and are understood to be ready to return to the table should they be given encouragement from the Northeast that a deal could be possible. And with the Reds traveling to St. James's Park on Monday night, Howe has confirmed that Isak will again be absent as he offered an update on his star forward's future. The club has to act in the best interests of Newcastle United. It will do that in every situation, Howe said at his pre-match press conference. I think it is a lose-lose situation to a degree for us because I don't think we can come out of this winning in any situation. And that's why I've said all summer it's a difficult situation for the club to manage. We love Alex in the sense of what he's done for the football club since he's been here, what he's contributed, what he's given, how professional he's been. This has just been an unfortunate few months. It looks like it is coming to an end, or it will come to an end pretty quickly, and then we can focus on the football again. There has been no change. No, he won't be part of the squad for this weekend's game. My preference for these things is it doesn't happen publicly because I think everything is better dealt with behind closed doors. But needs must, and this situation the club has spoken, and probably justifiably so in that moment. Meanwhile, Howe also reiterated his desire for Isak to still be reintegrated back into the Newcastle squad. Yeah, of course, I still hope he can be reintegrated into the squad, he said. He's contracted to us, he's our player. My wish is that he would be playing on Monday night with us. But he won't be, and that is regrettable at this moment. But 100% I want to see him back in a Newcastle shirt. I think that's probably a conversation for another day. How do you integrate Isak? At the moment, that is not an option for us. Rather than talk hypotheticals, I'd rather talk when we get there, when we get to that point. Then, of course, we'll enter that phase and see what we need to do to try and get the best for Alex, get the best for the team, which is always the priority. But until that point, I think we're best focusing on the players we have available for the next game. Liverpool finally have their new Philippe Coutinho with 100-meter transfer. Inevitable former Liverpool midfielder Danny Murphy is expecting big things from Florian Wirtz, but warns it will take time for the Germany international to settle. On any other weekend, Everton's first game at their new Hill Dickinson Stadium against Brighton on Sunday would be the place to be. Or perhaps Selhurst Park, with Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest having acquired some significant beef during the summer. Neither, though, will attract quite the same interest or attention as the fixture on Monday evening when Liverpool traveled to the Northeast to take on Newcastle United. The ongoing situation regarding Alexander Isak. Liverpool want to sign the striker with Newcastle, starting to waver over their insistence to this summer not sell a player who has lost trust in the club's owners, means there will be a hostile atmosphere awaiting the Reds. It will prove another steep learning curve for the raft of new Liverpool signings, and a further test of how attacking midfielder Florian Wirtz can adapt to life in the hectic swirl of the Premier League. Having taken on Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, the $116 million club record signing has already had to cope with two of the top flight's most physical teams. Newcastle, though, have long forged a reputation for roughing up opponents with minimal censure, and with the likes of Joelinton leading the scrap, used that to good effect to beat Liverpool in the League Cup final back in March. But former Reds favorite Danny Murphy is confident there will be no issues for Wirtz in the long term. "He looks brave. I don't think he'll worry about making mistakes," says Murphy. "He's fit as a fiddle. His numbers are great in terms of getting around the pitch. People talk about the physicality of the Premier League, but I don't see that as an issue for him. I think he will go on to have a massive impact on the club. I really do think he is that good. It's just a case of not expecting too much too soon. He just needs a little time to work people out around him." Wirtz scored 57 goals and provided 65 assists in 197 appearances for Bayer Leverkusen before switching to Anfield, and already has one assist when inviting Hugo Ekitike to score the opener in the Community Shield against Crystal Palace at Wembley. And when asked what he wants to see from the 22-year-old, Murphy doesn't hesitate. "I am expecting goals and assists, to put it simply," he says exclusively to The Echo when speaking on behalf of newbettingsites.uk. His numbers were great in the Bundesliga. He has got that wonderful ability to see pictures really quickly that others don't see. That isn't something I believe that can be coached. It's just a natural instinct to make things happen. For me, it is a phenomenal signing. You could argue it's a lot of money for someone who has only had a couple of great seasons in the Bundesliga, but when you look at the amount of money that's being spent on players these days in other positions, it's inevitable Liverpool were going to break that 100 million barrier at some point. And Murphy believes Wirtz will offer something to Liverpool's team that hasn't been since the early days under Jurgen Klopp. "He could be a game changer for Liverpool," he adds. "We haven't had a player like him probably since Philippe Coutinho." Then Klopp changed the dynamic and brought three athletic players into the middle of the pitch. Even last season, Dominic Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones in that role are more midfielders playing as a number 10. Wirtz is more of a forward playing there. It's a new style of player to have in the club, but I'm so excited. I love watching him. Already. I know some people say he was underwhelming on the opening day, but there were still glimpses. And the game against Palace, there was the link-up with Ekitike and things like that. Fans are going to really enjoy watching him. And also, the fact he's taken the number 7 shirt, so he's got to be good. Fabrizio Romano. Liverpool agree. Transfer deal for 19-year-old forward Fabrizio Romano. Confirms. Liverpool transfer deal. Liverpool's summer transfer activity has taken another step forward, with 19-year-old winger Lewis Koumas completing a season-long loan move to Birmingham City, as reported by trusted journalist Fabrizio Romano. Romano took to X to break the news, stating, "Liverpool talent Lewis Koumas has decided to join Birmingham City on season-long loan. Agreement reached now and medical to follow next. 19-year-old winger will play for Birmingham City." Here we go. Koumas, who impressed during his loan spell at Stoke City in the 2023-24 season, is being given another opportunity to develop through regular championship football. The Welsh youth international netted 6 goals in 49 appearances for Stoke, showing flashes of attacking potential and raw work rate that Liverpool fans had grown excited about during his academy days. Squad evolution continues under Arne Slot with Arne Slot now shaping his Liverpool squad for the long term after a Premier League winning debut season. There is clear intent from the club to ensure young players like Koumas are not left stagnating. Strategic loans such as this not only provide valuable game time, but help assess readiness for the first-team environment at Anfield. Although Wrexham, newly promoted to the Championship, were reportedly keen to sign Koumas on a permanent basis, with talks progressing earlier this month, Birmingham City have ultimately won the race. The Blues have been active in the window, and this move represents a clear opportunity for Koumas to thrive in a more attack-focused setup. More exits expected. At Anfield, Liverpool's squad remains in a state of transition with Kostas Tsimikas tipped to leave, possibly returning to Olympiacos. RB Leipzig's interest in Harvey Elliott remains live, although sources suggest that Liverpool want to keep the 22-year-old in an ideal world, particularly for depth as the Reds return to the UEFA Champions League this season. Koumas's departure, while not shocking, reflects the continuing need for young talents to get senior minutes elsewhere. His exit is unlikely to affect first-team plans in the short term, but speaks to how competitive the environment at Liverpool currently is under Slot. Elite Liverpool signing on as Fabrizio Romano drops thrilling update. Liverpool remain locked in talks with Crystal Palace for Marc Guehi, and the deal can well and truly be considered on, with Fabrizio Romano providing the latest. Palace have rejected bids for Guehi from both Newcastle United and Tottenham Hotspur in previous transfer windows, as they were still hopeful of tying the defender down to a new contract. However, Palace have been unable to convince Guehi to stay. Guehi's current terms expire in June 2026, and he does not intend to renew. Guehi knows he has put himself in a great position to secure a major transfer this summer. Palace must either sell the centre-back this month or risk him leaving for nothing in 12 months' time. Liverpool recently opened discussions with Palace. For Guehi, and Romano has now given an update on his YouTube channel. Crystal Palace would love to keep Marc Guehi. Chairman Steve Parish has said if he wants to sign a new contract, he can stay, Romano said. But Guehi has a clear intention to not sign any new deal and to try a new chapter. And that new chapter for Guehi is Liverpool. We have to see if Liverpool and Palace can agree on a deal this summer. The two clubs are still talking. The deal for Guehi is absolutely on. You remember what I told you 2 weeks ago, Giovanni, Leone, and Guehi. That remains the case. Liverpool want to sign both. Will they be able to reach an agreement with Palace? We will see, but the conversation is still ongoing. So the Guehi deal is on for Liverpool to get a new defender for Arne Slot in these final days of the transfer window. Marc Guehi, set to follow Giovanni Leone to Liverpool. Liverpool have already captured promising Italian centre-half Leone from Parma for 26 million plus add-ons this summer. But Leone is only 18 years old, and Liverpool want a more experienced option. To compete with Ibrahima Konate, Guehi is their no one target. Team Talk revealed on July 3rd that the Reds have agreed personal terms with Guehi, which has since been confirmed by other sources such as Romano. Liverpool ideally do not want to pay more than 35–40 for the England international, whereas Palace are holding out for 45 million. As such, there will need to be a compromise before Guehi can become Liverpool's next statement signing. It was claimed on Thursday that Liverpool are aiming to complete a remarkable 165 million double deal for Guehi and Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. Wayne Rooney reveals what he said to Arne Slot after partying with Liverpool. Boss Wayne Rooney has lifted the lid on what he told Arne Slot after the Manchester United star enjoyed a memorable night out with the Liverpool boss during the summer break. Wayne Rooney has shared the story of how he ended up celebrating with Liverpool boss Arne Slot in Ibiza, despite his long-standing ties to Manchester United and Everton. The 46-year-old found himself partying alongside the Reds head to celebrate his Premier League title win during the summer break. Ahead of the new season, Slot explained that he unexpectedly bumped into the former Everton striker at a Calvin Harris show on the party island. A regular visitor to Ibiza, the Liverpool manager is known to spend his downtime there. He said, "The moment I met him, that was Ushuaia. We were both having a good time over there." Speaking on the Wayne Rooney show, the pundit said, "We went to watch Calvin Harris and they put us in a VIP area and Arne Slot was standing in front of me, so we had a good chat." Rooney, who spent much of his career facing Liverpool with both United and Everton, admitted that while their recent triumphs are difficult to accept, he still respects their achievements. "I said congratulations on winning the league," he added. "I think as much as I don't want Liverpool to win the league, I think you've still got to be graceful as well. So I said congratulations, and then we watched Calvin Harris and we had a few drinks. After the performance, Rooney and Slot headed backstage to meet the DJ, carrying on their conversation. The 39-year-old said, "After the show, we both went in to see Calvin and had another good chat again," he said. "He seemed like a really nice fella, and I just hope he isn't as successful this season as he was last." Harris, a proud Liverpool supporter, marked the club's Premier League triumph by joining the players on their open-top bus parade. After guiding Liverpool to their 20th league title in April with a 5-1 victory over Tottenham, Slot headed to Ibiza to revel in the achievement of writing his name into Anfield history. A celebration was staged in his honor at the famous O Beach Club, where social media posts showed the Dutchman being welcomed onto the stage to Queen's "We Are the Champions." A group of women held cards spelling out "Champions" as the crowd cheered him on. The event was hosted by club owner Wayne Lineker, who shared footage of the night on Instagram. He also posted a photo alongside Slot, captioned, "Caption this, Nai WNA," followed by heart and clapping emojis. Alexander Isak snubbed signing for club despite transfer clause. No intention. Alexander Isak is pushing hard for a move to Liverpool, with the Newcastle striker demonstrating the same stubborn determination he's shown in the past. Isak has never been one to back down or give in easily. The Newcastle forward is pushing relentlessly for a transfer to Liverpool, with what could be a record-setting deal hanging in the balance. The Magpies are holding firm on their $150 million asking price, a figure Liverpool have shown no intention of paying. To escalate matters, Isak is said to be refusing to play for Newcastle, adopting a tough stance reminiscent of his past. Back when he left Borussia Dortmund for Real Sociedad, Isak made it abundantly clear he would not return to the Westfalenstadion, despite Dortmund holding a buyback clause. "I have no intention of going back there," he said in 2020. "All I can say is that Dortmund is in my past and not in my future. I feel very comfortable where I am and have no intention of going back there. My only focus now is Real Sociedad." That firm attitude reflects both his ambition and determination, qualities once again evident as he pushes to swap Tyneside for Merseyside. Isak's rise began in 2016 when Dortmund snapped him up from Swedish club AIK as one of Europe's most exciting teenage prospects. But his spell in Germany was underwhelming, producing only 1 goal across 13 outings. Sold for just $5 million to Real Sociedad in 2019, it was there his career truly flourished. In his debut campaign, he struck 16 times in all competitions and was instrumental in securing the Copa del Rey, Sociedad's first major honor in over 30 years. Predictably, whispers of a Dortmund return followed, but Isak never wavered, sticking to his guns about never going back. Newcastle are now encountering the same stubborn resolve as the 25-year-old takes drastic measures to engineer a move. Liverpool's opening $110 million bid was turned down earlier in the summer, after which reports emerged that Isak was refusing to play, a threat he maintains even if no deal materializes. He has since been training away from the squad and missed Newcastle's season opener against Aston Villa. This week, he turned up the heat further by posting a bombshell statement on Instagram that his relationship with the club cannot continue. Newcastle, however, responded forcefully with a statement of their own, stressing that Isak remains not for sale and will rejoin the squad once he ends his standoff. Liverpool, meanwhile, have no plans to raise their offer unless Newcastle soften their stance, leaving the saga in limbo. With tensions high and bridges already burned, Isak remains determined to push for Anfield. Yet with 3 years still left on his contract and Newcastle showing no sign of caving, this could be one standoff. He cannot win.